The gold standard is simple. To validate a sterilization cycle, you run it on a chamber full of your product. But validating the cycle costs some production-ready devices that can't be used for anything else. To learn more about how many and how those devices are used, check out my series on EO and CD validation. Instead of filling the chamber with your real product to run the tests, we take a few and fill the rest of the space with fake products called Dunnage, rejected parts, bare circuit boards, syringes filled with water. It sounds like a shortcut. It's the opposite. It's a rigorous, fully documented stand-in. And when it's justified properly, it's an approach the FDA accepts. I'm Jim Kasic from Boulder Sterilization. This one comes straight out of our engineering team's white paper on sterilization validation. And it's the part of the process that trips up almost every first-time client. It's called Dunnage. Here's what makes it counterintuitive. A sterilization validation is specific to your product. We're proving the cycle sterilizes your device, and that includes testing the product itself. But a cycle is only as good as the toughest load configuration it has to get through. An empty chamber is the easy case. Gas flows everywhere, nothing gets in the way. A chamber packed for a real production run is the worst case. The product absorbs the sterilant gas, it absorbs the moisture, it acts as a heat sink, and packed in tight, it blocks the gas from circulating. So the rule is simple. You validate the worst case, a full chamber matched for mass and density. But filling that full chamber with thousands of finished sterile-grade devices is often cost-prohibitive. And early on, when your yields are low, it can be flat-out impossible. So we fill it with a stand-in load that behaves like your product where it counts. That stand-in is Dunnage. The industry calls it a dummy load or simulated product. Using it instead of live devices can save you upwards of $50,000 to $200,000 in raw material and cleanroom assembly costs for a single validation series. So here's the key. Dunnage doesn't have to function as a device. It just has to behave like one where it counts. It has to face the same gas, absorb the same sterilant and moisture, hold the same heat, and block the same airflow. Do that, and the sterilization data carries over to your real product. But it only counts if that behavior is provably equivalent. Dunnage can't be scrap cardboard and packing peanuts. It has to be scientifically justified. The same family of plastics as your device because the resin is what absorbs the gas. The exact same sterile packaging, the same pouch or tray, because the gas has to pass through that same barrier to reach it. And matched mass and density so it sinks heat and chokes airflow like a real full load. Get those right, and the physics inside that chamber are identical. Now, within those rules, you get some smart shortcuts, and this is where the cost comes down. You can leave the internal assemblies loose instead of fully built. You can use bare, unpopulated circuit boards, or leave the electronics out entirely and just match the weight with a metal slug. Batteries come out for safety, and your cosmetic rejects, the scratched housings, the units that failed final test, those aren't garbage. They're perfect dunnage. None of that changes how the load absorbs gas or holds heat, so none of it changes whether the validation is valid. Here is the elegant part. The load is fake, but the test inside it is real. The biological indicators and the sensors that actually prove sterility go inside real, fully functional devices, your actual product. We call them process challenge devices, and we scatter them through the dummy load. So the crowd filling your chamber is a fake. The test subjects hidden inside it are real. That is how you prove the sterilant reached the hardest spot in a packed load and killed everything there. So the next time producing your product in Dunnage shows up on your validation timeline, that is what it is. A stand-in load, engineered and documented to prove your real product gets sterilized without burning a fortune in real devices to do it. The equivalency argument, the packaging match, the residual and off-gassing check, all written into the protocol your 510K or PMA depends on. That is easy to get wrong and expensive to redo. It is exactly what we do. Bring us your device and we will design the dummy load, run the validation, and write the justification the FDA expects to see. We are Boulder Sterilization. Start at bouldersterilization.com.